Thursday. Welcome to the finale. Well, it looks like someone just got kicked off. Okay, we're gonna wait just a minute or two more. And we are going to get started with the finale. I can't believe it's been 8 weeks already. So we're going to talk about closing a short sale and some tips on trying to make it as smooth as possible. So hey, Kimberly, hi, Ed. Good to see you again.
Hello.
How is everyone's week going? Mine is good. My boys are almost done with school, so of course it's a little bit crazy here. All right, let me just get the slides ready to go. All right, I love conversation. So as you have questions, Kimberly, I know you love asking questions. I love it too. Please feel free to either unmute yourself. It's okay if you interrupt me. I do not mind. I want to be able to get your questions answered. You can also post them in the chat as well. All right, we'll welcome Latanya. She's just joining in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning, Latanya. I guess I should say afternoon, sort of 11 here. So, hi, Latanya. How are you? Welcome. If you have questions, feel free to post them in the chat or unmute yourself, okay? All righty. So today is part 8. We've been going through 8 parts of this process. So for the last 8 weeks, this is what we have done. And so during this session, we are going to go over closing the short sale. We're going to do a recap. And then I'm going to tell you just some fun summer things that are coming up for the group. So today is part 8. It is the finale. I do say it's epic. Why? Because closing the short sale is so exciting. Absolutely is, for so many reasons. You worked so hard. You have helped your seller avoid foreclosure. You may have worked with an attorney that has added value and profits to their firm. So it's really, really super exciting. All right, so let's talk about the comprehensive recap. So this is what we have covered. And so I created this document. I am going to, actually, let me stop real quick. I'm going to get the link to share with you guys. So that way you can go back and easily watch all of these. We will add part 8 to it and post about it probably tomorrow with the recap. But here is a link to that, and you're able to go back and easily watch all of the past trainings for this particular series. So part 1 was the foreclosure numbers in your area and finding the distress leads. So when I came up with this series training, I really wanted to go through it all step by step to make things as easy as possible for you. So we actually took a look at our system. We used Property Radar and we looked at the numbers. Most people were very surprised about the numbers in their area and really how to find those distressed leads. Part 2 was how to stand out in your market area as a distressed specialist. Part 3, how to handle those calls, top questions to ask. Part 4, 2 things that you should do before and during your distress listing. So I think most of you know I've been doing this for a very, very long time. I have lots of tips, lots of tactics, lots of strategies that I've used. So I actually really, really enjoyed, I enjoyed all of them, but part 4 was really great. Part 5, okay, you got the offer. Now what the heck do you do? Part 6, the actual short sale process, submitting the packet, all of that fun stuff. And then last week we reviewed the approval letter. And then this week we are going to go through part 8, which is actually closing the short sale. So any questions before I get started on closing the short sale on any of these past parts, and were you able to get the link? I post it in the chat. So all you have to do is click on it and you should be able to get it right away. Okay. Great, Kimberly. Thank you. Let's move on. So tip number one. So we're going to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tips that I feel is very, very important for closing the short sale. Okay. So tip number one is make sure your seller is out of the property and the final walkthrough goes well. Now you may be thinking, Heather, what the heck? Like, why would you even put this in as a tip? Look, remember, I've been doing this for a very long time. I have seen a lot. Your job, like I said last week, is not done once you have that approval letter. And you really have to hold your seller's hand even at this part. They must be out of the property before you close. They cannot stay in the property, period. Okay. So I always continue to communicate with the seller. I'm usually connecting them with my rental agent to find a rental, so they're all on the same page and the time frame and all that. But you do want to make sure that the seller is out of the property. Okay, I always say at least 24 hours before the closing. Please, please try not to wait the very last day to get this closed. I always communicate with the buyer's agent as well. I want to make sure that the final walkthrough goes well. So I don't go to the property. I go once typically. So inside of my community, I train you to go to these properties one time. That's why a lot of people will drive an hour and 15 minutes, because you should be going to the property one time. Everything else is done at your home office or your office. Okay. But we want to ensure that final walkthrough goes well, that the seller didn't damage anything, or if things were being left behind, that was something you should have done at the beginning, to let the buyer's agent know, hey, this is going to be here at the end. There are no credits. Buyer cannot come back and say, oh, this place looks like a dump. I want $500 to get a dumpster. No, you can't do any of that. Now, has there been times where my seller has left the property and, a lot of stuff? Yes. I have a relationship with a dumpster guy. And so sometimes I will pay out of my pocket to have a dumpster delivered for the buyers, because I do not want this falling apart at the end. Okay. It's a write-off for me. It's really a win-win for everyone. You get paid, seller avoids foreclosure. If they get relocation, they get that. Buyer gets a property. Win-win, right? Questions on tip number one? So you can either post in the chat or on. Okay, go ahead, Kimberly.
Question. So wouldn't a lot of that be the buyer's responsibility?
What would be the buyer's responsibility?
Oh, never mind. I wasn't thinking it through right.
Okay.
So it's the seller. We're selling it, so we're making sure that seller is out, that they've taken all their stuff. That's why you have a relationship with the dumpster people, because so that would kind of like be your second time that you're there, right?
Well, so I don't go to the property before closing, but I do communicate with the buyer's agent. So my team will follow up with them after the final walkthrough to make sure everything goes well. If they don't like something and they're like, oh gosh, there's tons of different scenarios. I don't want the deal to fall apart. So sometimes I will say, hey, I got a relationship with the dumpster guy. Let me just give him a call and he can drop off a dumpster and I will pay for it.
But if they damaged the property and now the buyer's like, well, this is damaged or that's damaged, like you said, there's no credit. So it is either he walks or he takes it. Is that right?
Right. It is an as-is sale, correct. And do I have tons of issues? No, but there's definitely some things that come up. Oh, the seller left a bunch of crap in the house. I don't want to start this over. So I will do everything I can to get this closed. So if I have to spend $300 or $400 on a dumpster, yes, I want to do that so you can make the 3.5% on the short sale. Your seller avoids foreclosure and it just gets closed and you can move on to the next one. If you don't do something to save the deal and the buyer ends up walking, then what? Well, you're gonna have to put it back on the market. The seller's gonna have to continue to keep up with utilities. You're gonna have to get it reapproved. It's just a bigger mess. So my biggest tip is do whatever you can to keep that together at closing. Now, do I have smooth walkthroughs? Yeah, I do. But
Right.
yeah,
So I'm still just a little not clear on it, because at that point at the walkthrough, wouldn't he already be past his due diligence and earnest money at that point time, or is it not?
yes. Well, I think earnest money is a hook, if you ask me, because it's always contingent on something. And in a short sale situation, the seller can't get that earnest money. They can't receive any money except reload. So it's a very, very gray area. So have I had buyers walk at the final walkthrough before closing because the property had a bunch of crap in it or something went wrong? Yes, I have. That's why this is my number one tip is to do all of this. It's going to save yourself a headache. Does that make sense? Like I don't want to confuse you, but
Right.
they
Yeah.
walk, they can walk if this isn't done. Now, yes, it is an as-is sale, but and they've gone through all of the whatever. But if it's especially if it's like an investor or something, I mean, they don't care. So I'm just saying, biggest tip: make sure your seller's out, that they're doing their best to not damage anything. Now, if I go to the property at the beginning of this process and it's a hoarder house or whatever, then I will make sure I put in the listing, hey, this is how it's going to be when you do the final walkthrough. And then I get that in writing. Am I still confusing you?
No, no, that's good. I just didn't realize that they could walk at the last minute like that.
I've had people walk at the closing table. Woo!
Oh gosh.
That's probably a story for like a story day. The things that I've seen, and yeah, really crazy. All right, let's move on. Tip number 2. So, yes, the short sale is approved, but you cannot close the short sale until you get the actual statement, preliminary HUD, master statement, whatever you call it, approved by the bank or servicer at least 72 hours prior to closing. SPS, specialized portfolio servicing, is probably the only servicer that does not require approval. Otherwise, you will not get this closed. You have to get that statement approved before closing. So that's why it's important to read through the approval letter. Okay. Where do you send it to get approval? All of that's in there. So you have to get it approved before you close. Very, very, very important. Once you get it approved, I mean, we'll talk about that in the other steps. But does everyone understand this? So in order to close a short sale, you have to take that final statement, make sure it matches the original one. Can't be changing any numbers now. It has to go back to the bank and just say, hey, we're scheduled to close for this date and time. Please, we need this statement approved. And then they will approve it and send back either an email or a fax. It just depends on how that bank communicates. Make sense?
Yes. What if there is something that's wrong on it?
They'll ask you to change it. But that's where there's so many moving parts with these short sales. And so what I like to do is inside of our community, before anyone closes the short sale, I want you to send me that final statement as well as the original one that got approved to make sure everything matches. If it doesn't match, I will explain to you, hey, what's going on with this, or we got to change this. I know all of that, so I would like to educate you on that process. But if there's something wrong, then the bank will ask you to change it back. So, but what we try to avoid is going back and forth with the servicer so many times, because time is crucial and time is of the essence in this particular situation, especially if you only have 72 hours before closing. So they will ask you to change it. They're not going to deny it or anything, Kimberly, but you do want to try to make sure you can get it done on that first round. It just makes things easier.
Thank you.
Good. Okay. Tip number 3. Once you get that approved, so like I said, you're either going to email it or fax it. If it's an Equator deal, you would upload it in Equator as a task. Once you have that statement approved and you have proof that it was approved, either the email, the fax, whatever it is, then you are going to want to inform all parties. If you're, so like I'm an attorney state, I send all of that information to the attorney. If you are the title company, if you're a title company state, you send it directly to the title company. And then I put in parentheses, especially the title company, because they kind of have the ultimate say in the end. So what does that mean exactly? They want to see that the bank has reviewed everything and approved it. It's so important that they review all of this before you actually go to the closing table. So I ensure that. It's not something I did at the beginning of my career, but I do it now because it's going to be less headache for you. If there is something that the title company looks at and they don't like it, then they can come back to you and say, hey, Heather, we need this changed. So some of the things that need changed, well, maybe they don't like how the bank approved it. That has happened. Maybe they have a question for the servicer. They are not authorized, so you're the only one that's going to be able to handle that. So it's just really important that all parties know that the bank has approved the statement. We are clear to close, and make sure that the title company reviews any of that. That way, if there's something else that they need, you can do all of that before you get to the closing table. Okay? Ed, LaTanya, any questions? All right. No? LaTanya, are you going to say something?
No, not at this time. Listening in. Thank you.
Okay, cool. All right. So, tip number 4. Attend the closing or not attend the closing? And I'm going to give you my opinion on that. Of course, you always have to figure out what's best for you. I do not attend my closings for a couple of different reasons. The first reason is my sellers typically always pre-sign the documents, so they are not even there. We are an attorney state, so the attorneys don't even go. So I don't attend the closing for that reason. I'm not going to go and hang out with the buy side. I have better things to do. But that's totally up to you. Now, every once in a while, if like my attorney's going and I have a good relationship with them, I may go and we will have lunch or something. I mean, it's definitely good to keep up with those relationships, or maybe a relationship with the title company. But I would say almost 100% of the time, I do not go to the closings. So I either have the title company overnight my check to the office, or sometimes I get it sent to my house because we have like an app to deposit the check. The second reason why I don't attend these closings is because there are always last minute issues that come up. So I prefer to be in my area here. This is my office. It's my safe place. Like I know where everything's at. I got files everywhere. So I prefer to be right here with all of the seller's information, the bank information, in case something comes up that my team has to come in and save the day for, whatever it may be. But inside of the community, these are the types of things that we teach you to handle before. Make sure you're reviewing the title, having all of everything that's on the title. You got to have approved or some sort of release or whatever. Got to go through that step by step. So really, now are your first few short sale transactions going to be a little bit on the wacky side? Yeah, probably. But dealing with any of those issues as much as you can ahead of time is going to make your lives a lot easier, a lot smoother. I have certainly had some really crazy closings. I still sometimes have them. There's last minute issues that come up that you're just not going to be able to know when you start it. So really the two reasons why I don't attend is one, my sellers don't go, and two, I want to be here in my environment in case any issues come up and I can handle that. Make sense?
Yeah.
All righty, great. Okay, so tip number 5. So equator.com. Now, if you do not have an account with equator.com, it is free. I recommend you going to equator.com, filling out all the information, because eventually, if you're planning to take on distressed listings, some banks use equator.com. I do not like equator.com. It's very task driven. I want to speak to a human, but there's no way around it if the bank is using equator.com. So, tip number 5. If the short sale was done through equator.com, you are the one that's going to have to complete all of the closing tasks. So they're going to ask for the signed approval. They're going to ask for the signed statement. If there was a power of attorney, they're going to ask for that. They're going to ask for wire confirmation and any other documents that was signed. You will have to upload those to Equator. And then Equator will send you a message once they have officially closed out the file. Okay. So that's going to be your job. The title company is not going to be able to do that because they don't have access to your Equator account. Okay. If it is not done through Equator, I would just kindly ask, if you're an attorney state, ask the attorneys, or if you're a title company state, just go directly to the title company and ask them to include you on all the emails that they're sending to the bank. So after we close, there's a ton of emails that are required to go back to the short sale bank. So if you're included on those emails, you're going to know if something is missing or needed, or maybe they forgot something, because the whole idea is to get this done, close it out so you can move on to the next one. What we don't want to happen is that you're not on these emails and something comes up and the title company can't handle it because they're not authorized, and then those funds get released and sent back to the title company. So just for the sake of your sanity, ask the title company or the attorneys to make sure that you're included on all emails to the short sale servicer bank. Okay? All right, final tip. So this is like the best one. I have helped so many families over the years. That's why I'm still in this niche. I absolutely love it. I know that I'm making a very, very positive impact on these clients, on the communities. And so when I can make that call at the end and I have said to the seller, hey, you have avoided foreclosure, they a lot of times just start crying on the phone. So it is if you have not made one of those phone calls before, just wait. It is such a powerful moment. It really warms your heart because it is such an amazing time for them, and it makes you feel so good, and all the hard work that you have done has really paid off. So making that phone call, make sure you make a phone call. Don't text, don't email. This is the time to have that one final connection with them. And they will be forever grateful for you. So you want to make sure that if you have a CRM, keep them in your CRM. Communicate with them often. You never know when they want to come back and buy, or they may have someone to refer you to. The ones that are forever grateful, which most of them are, you'll definitely go through some wacky ones. They will give you business for years to come. And then, of course, you want to share your success on social media. Social media can be very powerful. You never know who could see it in another state or your area. So definitely post on social media. Now, we have some inside of our community, we do have different templates on how you can do all of that. We love social media, YouTube and, Facebook. We do a lot on Facebook, but it is good to share your success, right? Let them know about the family that you help. Don't give their information, but give a quick story. Hey, the sellers had an auction. So for example, I closed on an equity sale, which she came from one of our letters that we use in our community. and she had about $80,000 worth of equity. We closed on that at the beginning of May. No, I'm sorry, the very end of April. She had an auction date May 22nd. And I just shared a quick story. Hey, this client came from a letter. She had an auction date. We were able to help her pull her equity out before the auction. Simple. And then you share it. So those are all of my tips. Of course, every scenario with short sales is going to be different, but in general, those 6 tips are really going to help you when you actually come to a short sale closing. So before I talk about our summer plans, any questions on the tips or closing a short sale? No questions. Okay. So next week, we are not in session. So I'll make sure I remind everyone that is a rare occasion. The last time we were not in session was right over the holiday season because my family and I, we travel after Christmas through the new year. So we do take a couple of weeks off there. I don't like taking weeks off. I like to be here with you, especially you 3, because it seems like you're one of the super consistent people to be on. But my team and I have been working on some sizzling summer plans. And so we, 2 weeks from today, are going to have a special event around that. Okay. And so let me just share. You're going to have to register. So let's see here. I'm going to show you just a little bit about what it's about. So this group that you're a part of, it's about you. I hope that you leave these sessions inspired and motivated. You can really make a difference in the lives of these families. And so this group is really all about you. And so 2 weeks from today, we are going to go over a grand reveal. So we have a new name, a new look, some new content. And so I'm going to do all of that live. Our Mondays are going to be different. Our Tuesdays are going to be different. Our Wednesdays, we're still going to have our live streams on Thursdays, but the week is going to look a little bit more different. Some inspirational stories. So yeah, you're going to see a sneak peek of all of our plans for the summer. And then if you attend live, you will have access to the book that I wrote, Secrets of a Six-Figure Business and Short Sales. Now, I think that's around 80 to 90 pages. So anyone that attends live will get that for free. Right now, I'm charging for that, but if you attend and you stay till the end, you'll get the link to download that. So lots of fun things going on. So I'm going to share the link. And any questions?
I have a question, Heather. So I know I want to join your group, but I guess where I'm struggling, I'm working with a title company. I'm getting their NODs, but I put together my letter based off of your letter that you shared with everyone, but I'm almost afraid to make the leap because I really don't have any idea what to do. And I mean, I've enjoyed the classes and I've enjoyed learning and reading, but to be truthful, I don't know how much help I would be for someone with what little knowledge I have.
Yeah, so I think it's awesome that you're gathering all of this and you're doing all of this hard work, but I guess the question to ask yourself is like, I'm working this hard and now I'm at the point where, holy crap, I'm going to send these letters. What's going to happen when I get a phone call? And so like Latanya and I have met, we've gone through the Zoom session. She's seen what we've been doing in the group. I think you're at like a point, Kimberly, where you either try to do it on your own, and you can certainly attend these weekly sessions and probably get a lot out of it. These weekly sessions are great, but it is nothing compared to what my community is doing. So at some point, if you do want to handle distressed sales, I would say just take that leap, take that risk. I don't really think it's a risk because I'm very confident in what we're doing inside of the community. But when you get those calls, Kimberly, you'll be able to come to the group and everyone will comment on, hey, what to do. So for example, this morning we were on and one of the ladies was like, hey, I got this call. How do we go about it? And so I gave my suggestion, then everyone else is commenting too, because the members inside of our community, they are getting calls, some of them every couple of days on their letters, definitely every week. And so it's very, very powerful to be a part of a community who truly wants to make this impact in their communities. I mean, yeah, is it great to make the money? Yeah, of course. But we've talked about this. It's the long term. So I think at some point, come join us. I think it may be confusing on these weekly ones because it's just like a little bit here and there, but it's going to be so powerful for you. And I think you're going to have that aha moment when you're actually inside of the group.
Okay.
But
So I guess what I need, and it sounds like you answer my question. I feel like I would need for at least a couple of the first transactions is someone to really walk me through and hold my hand through it.
yes, and that's what the community is, because I don't know if you know, but our mission is to help 10,000 families. And so if we're not in there helping you, how are we ever going to get to that mission? We're not. I don't know if you connected with any of the ladies that
yes. Well, we've only connected with, I'm really busy. They're super busy. So really a one-on-one, although one did send me a great email of reassurance of how much help you have been to her, which is great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm keeping them super busy. We got a lot of projects going on, but even if you just message through Facebook, I know they'll get back to you. I was going to say something and then I forgot. What were you saying before that?
Just hand holding,
Yeah. So yes, the hand holding, but I don't want you to just be in there for a few deals. I want you to be in there for a lifetime because, so for example, there's a lot of very seasoned agents who have done these short sales, but kind of were at a crossroads with their marketing and didn't know what to do with their marketing. Or, I think you guys know, but like you get these books. And so, plus, we wrote an attorney book on how we can add value and profits to their firm. And so, there's agents seasoned right now in our group that have done probably just as many short sales as me, and they're attending these trainings, and it's so great, the collaboration. I think, and you like to ask questions, which everyone loves that in the group, so I think you would really flourish, Kimberly.
Okay.
But the session for 2 weeks from now isn't really about the community. It's more about, hey, these are the changes I'm making to the free group. I want to get more agents in the free group excited and motivated, inspired to see what we are doing as a whole. But there's just a new look, a new name, and all that for the summer plans. Any other questions? Otherwise, I did send the link. I posted the link for that session if you want to come on, learn what we're doing each day during the summer and the new name, which is already done, and the new look and stuff. Feel free to join us live. I do have to limit. Usually these special events I have to limit. So if you register, you should be good to go. If you want that free book, you have to attend live. Okay, thanks for attending.
And that's the 30th, right?
Yep. So 2 weeks from today. So just a reminder, 1 week we are not in session. That is my boys' last day of school. And so we will be back 2 weeks for the grand reveal. And then we'll have the summer.
Thank you, Heather. And one question, Heather, I know that we've talked a great deal about the training program, something that I definitely will be a part of. However, the new Sizzling summer plans, did we discuss that already? Should I reach out
We
about
have
that?
not discussed that. So, the Sizzling summer plans are really just to say, hey, we're revamping the group. Here's a new name. Here's the new look. The new content. So we're going to be, I mean, you see my posts, we're going to do something a little bit different. Monday's going to be a certain thing, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday. And so, and more training. I mean, we're always going to have the weekly training. It's just not going to be, top notch of like all the communication we get in the community. But
Okay.
you attend, continue to get to know me. I think eventually, and I can always connect you with people too, like Latanya. I know Kimberly, I connected with a couple of ladies. So happy to do that. Ed too, for you if you would like.
That would be amazing.
But yeah, I'm easy to get a hold of. Send me a message. But whatever your concerns are about the community, I want to address those because I know that if you are following the guide that I created and you're attending our live sessions, which during the summer we're going to only be on twice a week, you will be fine. And you all have been very, very consistent with attending these live streams. So feel free. And if you want to meet with me again, one-on-one, just message me. Happy to help. But yeah, the Sizzling summer plans really don't have anything to do with the community. It's just like a new look and stuff for the free group. So, I would attend just to kind of know what's going on, unless you're planning to join the community within the next 2 weeks, then I would say don't attend.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this.
See you
It's
in 2
amazing.
weeks.
Yay.
Okay. Goodbye. Thank you, Heather.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.